our last flight before we reach Uz. As we fly today, look out your windows. You might see majestic mountains, winding rivers, or even the sparkling sea. And when night falls, the sky fills with more stars than you can count. Isn't God's creation amazing? What's your favorite thing about nature? Nature reminds us that God is creative, powerful, and good. And just like the world he made, you and I are part of his amazing design. But even though God is good, hard things still happen. And that can make us wonder why. That's what happened to our friend Job. Job was a good man who loved God, but one day everything fell apart. He lost his family, his home, his health, everything. And just when he needed support, his friends gave terrible advice. They told him it must be his fault, but they didn't know what God was doing, and they weren't in any position to speak for him. Go ahead and pause here and read Job 38, 1 through 3. God finally spoke, and he had questions of his own. God wasn't angry at Job for asking questions, but he reminded Job and us that we don't see the whole picture. Only God does. Let's hear some of the questions God asked Job. Pause here and read Job 38, 4 through 7 and 34 through 41, and go ahead and see what questions you find. These questions weren't meant to confuse Job. They were to remind him and us that God is bigger than we can imagine. His wisdom and power stretch beyond what we can understand. And still, God cares about us deeply. He listens. He stays close. He's patient with our doubts. And when we trust that he has everything under control. We're about to land at the Along the Way Resort. It's one of the finest getaways in all of the land of Uz. You might have heard of the hometown hero Job. After all his suffering and questions, Job had an encounter with God that changed everything. Let's see what Job said after God spoke. Read Job 42, 1 through 6. Job realized he didn't need all the answers. What he needed was trust and a reminder that God's perspective is greater than his own. Even though Job's friends were wrong, Job prayed for them, and God was pleased. That shows Job's heart was soft, even after all he went through. Let's go ahead and conclude our in-flight reading with Job 42, 10 through 13. And God blessed Job, not just with new animals and family, but with a full and beautiful life. Job lived to see how God made things right. Sometimes we may feel like we're flying through storms, asking God, why is this happening? But just like Job learned, we can remember two important truths. God is bigger than we can understand, and we can trust God will make everything right. I hear there's a cartoon recap playing at this resort. I hope you'll join me and listen in to see what it has to say. I loved flying with you and coming along with us to the Along the Way Resort. I hope you have a great day, and remember that God is in control, God is with us, and God is good.
Today's Bible story comes from Job chapter 42. After Job lost everything he had, he cried out to God for an answer. God didn't answer Job's question exactly, but God reminded Job that he could trust God because God is bigger than he could even understand. God was happy that even through the worst moments in his life, Job still did what was right. And now, God was going to make things right again. First, God made things right with Job and his friends. God was not happy that Job's friends had made Job feel worse and did not speak the truth about God. But Job prayed for his friends, and God forgave them. Next, God made everything right for Job. Everyone who knew Job before came over for a party. They comforted Job and gave him silver coins and gold rings. God also gave Job his health back and even gave him more sheep, oxen, camels, and donkeys than he had before. Job had more children to enjoy spending time with. He ended up living a very long life and got to see his grandchildren and great-grandchildren grow up. Through everything that happened, Job trusted God. God helped Job rebuild his life. Everything that was lost was given back and made right. Even when things seem to go all wrong, we can trust God will make everything right.